All right, welcome back to another edition of Slink Paint Gaming. What's up, Jim? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. All right, I'm Berto. I got Jim with us tonight. Jim, if you guys don't know, he's part of like the Slink Paint crew. You guys see him a lot of on our Facebook, doing a lot of posts and what have you. He's also our artist and also an elite Team SPG member. And he's also an author. He wrote a couple book, Ratko's War. He's actually starting a second copy of that, a second edition. And so, Jim, I know you said you had a shout-out that you wanted to do.
Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout-out to the guys of Salt Squadron in Niagara Falls, Ontario, and their home base, Max Aggression Gaming. I went there last week, first time for just an open gaming night, and played some X-Wing. Had a blast. Great bunch of guys. So
awesome.
I will definitely be going back.
Nice. And I love when we can actually promote the local communities and stuff like that. And hopefully they get bigger, because the bigger they are, the more events we have, the more fun we have. I think that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
All right. So we had a issue recording this streaming live yesterday, so this is part 2.
Little problem.
Little problem. Yeah. So we are going to record this and not do live, and then we're going to I'll put it up there. Yeah, sometimes it's hit or miss with live streams. It really is, and I can have the strongest signal here in my house, but for some reason, if the in between has a problem, so we're going to do this again because we wanted to get this out for you guys, and it was funny when we did the live stream. It did upload some videos, but it got the first 6 minutes and the last 11 minutes, and it was like all the meat and potatoes in between was gone.
On the bright side, this should be absolutely flawless because we've already done a run-through.
Exactly. It should be perfect. All right. So what are we talking about today? It's Fearless, an inventive article that Fantasy Flights just dropped for X-Wing, announcing the Guns for Hire expansion pack for X-Wing. This thing is awesome. Actually, I'm just going to switch right to the view here so everybody can see the article. There it is. And I'm also going to switch to look at that sexiness. Yeah. Woo! So
it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So what's your first reactions to the ships themselves, Jim?
The ships themselves, my first reaction is the K-Fighter. I'm going to call it the K-Fighter because I can neither spell nor pronounce what its actual name is.
Okay.
The K-Fighter looks fantastic. I love that they're carrying through kind of a similar theming that they had with the original Most Wanted set with the Z95 having the Z95 for you Americans, having the black sun and the white and that scheming. So I love the K-Fighter.
Yeah, the black sun.
And then there's the StarViper. The StarViper is hideous.
Really? You don't like it?
I mean, it's not going to matter much for me. I repaint most of my ships anyways, but God, what even would you call that color? It's not quite pink. It's not quite red.
Yeah, it's like an in-between almost.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, mauve. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not terribly in love with the color scheme of the StarViper, but you know what? If we're getting good buffs to the StarViper, then I can live with the paint scheme until I get out my paints.
Understood. You know what the funny part is? One of the biggest things I think that was requested of the StarViper, and a lot of people did the mods, is the actual folding of the wings themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
And they probably didn't because it's probably same just like the the original StarViper expansion pack. But I'm wondering if there's some kind of secret, because you do see in some of the cards the wings are folded down, which we'll get into.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so let's get right into this mix here. So one of the biggest things is actually, here's the spread. So I'm showing the spread that they have here with all the pilots, all the cards. Which the cool part is some of the new title cards, which we'll get into in a sec here, you get 2 of them. You see some new stuff as well. So the first thing right off the bat is on the bottom right there, the first row of upgrade cards. You do see the StarViper Mark II, and they do give you a bigger picture of it, and it's StarViper only title. And it says you may equip up to 2 different title upgrades, but when performing a barrel roll action, you must use the 1 bank template instead of the 1 straight, and it's a -3 cost.
Yes.
What's your first reactions to that?
My very first reaction is that I love it because in my experience, the biggest issue with the StarViper has always been the number of points it costs you to put on the table. Even the most basic, the PS1, I believe it's Black Sun Enforcer, is the base level StarViper. Even with no upgrades at all, it's 25 points. So it's certainly not a ship that you can easily use as a filler or as cannon fodder because it's damn expensive to put on the table. Getting this title that will reduce your point costs makes it a little bit more viable in terms of low PS on the table. But I think it really helps the aces in this case. If you think of Prince Zizor, Zizor, whatever his name is,
tomato.
think of him like having the -3 gives them puts them more in line with someone like Fen Rao in terms of point value.
Because if he's a 30, Prince Zizor's a 31 as is, right? Pilot skill value 7, and it drops if you put the StarViper title on it. It drops him right down to a 28 points, and especially with the boost, the barrel. Actually, let me switch to my squad builder here. Sure. So right off the bat, Prince Zizor, so it drops it down to a 28 points from 31 points, and because of the title, allows you to put the Virago title on it, right? Yeah. Which basically now gives you a system slot and an illicit slot on top of it.
Exactly. And just to point out how big that is to make Zizor a 28-point ship without the title, the next level up from the Black Sun Enforcer, which is the Vigo, Black Sun Vigo, is 27 points base.
Yeah.
Without any upgrades. So that having that -3 is huge for this ship.
And I also, one of the things I never really liked to fly this ship. I did fly Scum here and there. And the same thing with the Kihraxz fighter, which we're going to get into in a sec. But the one shield always, I'm like, I don't like that much, But does have 3 agility, but agility sides of the dice are not in your favor compared to hits and crits. But it does open up the whole. I mean, again, it brings Zizor into the mix here. Now he's a 7. They do release. Let me switch back here. Go back to the spread. You do see now Zizor's still going to be the 7. He's going to be the highest. The next one is that Galen Orberus, I think it was, but he's at a 6. So that's the so the highest you're going to get is a 7 there. So if you want to keep him as a 7, put VI on him. But a lot of people I would think would want to put a tiny mind link on and stuff like that. But with Fen Rao still on the table, that's going to be hard. But the Viper's got still a lot of positioning ability. It's got the built-in barrel, it's got the built-in boost. But it definitely opens up. Now, the only thing, though, is with the StarViper Mach 3, it says you can add another title. The only title you can do is the Virago, but it's a unique title, so you can only do it once.
Yeah, it's of course it's best on. Well, it can only be used on the higher pilot skills. You can't equip it on anything below a 4, I think it is, or a 3.
It's like 3, 3 or lower.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about being able to equip the extra title, I mean, if you wanted to, you could put on, then you could use your modification slot for a shield upgrade, which essentially is then a 1-point shield upgrade because you've got the -3. But the other thing is this: you can have the system slot. You can have the -3 with the StarViper Mark II, and then put the Virago title on. And that will then give you the system slot, so you can do an accuracy corrector, which means theoretically you won't necessarily need to use your tokens on offense. You can save them for defense, which will help with the survivability of the ship.
Right. I totally agree. I mean, I'm putting a little build here together right now. Like I'm putting Zizor with, his ability is when defending a friendly ship at range 1 may suffer 1 uncanceled hit or crit result instead of use, so you can deflect some of the pain to keep him alive. But you put VI on him, the StarViper Mark II at -3, Virago title that gives you the maybe say FCS, right? You have a ship that's 32 points. That's an ace. That's a 9 now with reroll abilities with the fire control system. If you can keep your opponent, that targeted ship in arc. But
Yeah.
for, like you said, it makes it a viable ship now that you want to bring to the table from a cost point of view.
And the other thing that the StarViper Mark II title brings to the table is your barrel rules are changed. Your barrel rules now, you have to use the one bank template as opposed to the one straight.
Yes.
Which, especially if you're putting VI on Prince Zizor, you've got a pretty interesting arc dodger there.
Yeah, this
because
is going to be
there are obviously we've all had those situations where you're using the one straight barrel roll, and in order to get out of arc, you're actually putting you're taking yourself out of being able to shoot at the guy too. But being able to barrel roll on a curve, you're opening your firing arc wider. Well, the firing arc stayed the same, obviously, but your positioning, you've got a better chance of keeping the guy in arc while getting out of his.
I like that. It's definitely going to open up the ball to shenanigans. It's kind of like that whole quad jumper when they were going reverse with the bank turn. I mean, it really makes you got to think about where is this guy going to end up? Speaking of quad jumpers, yes, I love it. So you just built that bad boy, didn't you?
I finished it like an hour ago. Yeah. But yeah, so getting back to like Zizor with the Mark II title, you also think if you push the limit on him instead of VI, I mean it negates him being like a PS9, but you've got the barrel roll with the one bank, and then the StarViper also has a boost, so you can barrel roll on an angle and then boost, and more or less using both of those come in behind somebody.
And we push the limit, puts him at 34 points because you know, so it's just 2 extra points for that. And then again, you got a nice ace. He's high on the middle of the as far as pilot skill value. He's still a 7. But yeah, I mean that just it just opens up more of the Scum stuff. Now a lot of people been complaining because one of the biggest complaints is Scum right now in the current meta with Fenrau and the missile boats, U-boats, or Dangar, Tel, Traveler. I mean, all these other ships, I mean, a lot of Scum lists are hot right now. And when they drop this, they're like, you're just adding more to the hotness of Scum. So a lot of Imperial players are getting upset. Rebel players are getting upset. But for me, like, I'm running, I've been running a lot of triple Ks in a lot of tournaments lately. I'm like, give me the aces. I love me some aces. Yeah. Dropping some ordnance on them.
Yeah, you're one of those.
Yes, the most degrading thing you can do is have your opponent roll their own fate.
Yeah.
Oh, my dice are hot.
I felt bad. I did that in a tournament when I was flying my quad jumper list that had Zuvio. He just backed up and dropped proximity mines right on top of Ray. The guy rolls 3 crits naturally.
Oh, no.
And it was like 2 direct hits, and I just felt bad.
Yes, it's very deflating.
Not too bad because I still won. But yeah, it's just,
All right, so let's go switch over to here. So we talked about the StarViper Mark II. And going back to the spread here, you do see the pulse shield generator, which is not new. Hold on, let me switch it. Which is not new because it does come out with the Sea-Rock expansion. Yes, and it's both for Rebel and Scum only. It's a modification for 2 points. During the end phase, you may receive 1 ion token to recover 1 shield up to your shield value. You can equip this card only if your shield value is 1. So definitely helps out.
Are there any Imperial ships that have a shield value of 1?
This is for Rebel and Scum only. But Rebel ships...
Yeah, I'm just curious as to whether or not there's actually any Imperial ship that could have even equipped this.
TIFO?
Even without that restriction printed right on it.
I think TIFO. TIFO has the 1 shield. It has 3 hull and 1 shield.
Oh yeah, of course it does. Shows you how much I fly.
You fly Imperial.
Right? Should have got Nims on here. He would have known.
Yeah, he would have known. I think it's TIFO. SF, no.
No, the SF doesn't. No, the SF is 3, isn't it?
Yeah, 3. Yeah, I think it's just the TIFO. I could be missing one.
Okay.
Again, I'm not an Imperial player, too.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to go too much into this, but for 2 points, you receive an ion token. That's the negative, especially for a small base ship. To recover 1. And this is going to be on mostly a small base ship because the only thing that has 1 shield is usually small base ships. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting on what this does, and reason why I'm interested because some of the other cards that they released in here me switch back to the spread. You see pulse shield generator going from right to left. You see definitely vectored thrusters, which gives you the barrel roll icon on your action bar. Then you do see stealth device, which is nothing new. But then you see this 2 cards, which usually when you see 2 cards, it's trying to help you out with existing ships of some sort. Or some kind of like not an errata, but like an upgrade to make, existing ships viable again. And this looks like it's an illicit upgrade, and it looks like it says ion discharge. And I'm not going to try to read the text, even if I magnify in here. But I'm wondering if this, tied to the pulse shield generator, leverages that ion token in some way, because it talks about a lot of the tokens that you ion here. And thinking about discharge, if you're ionized and you're discharging an ion token...
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering
if it's like it's almost like a Key and Farlander thing with the stress. Spend an ion token to do kind of like something like an EMP device.
I just have a funny feeling that with pulse shield generator and with the illicit upgrade for the ion discharge, I think if you receive that ion token to get your shield back and you discharge it somehow, some way, it's only going to be for illicit, so it's definitely open up to all the scum ships.
Yeah.
And 1 or 2 potentially of the Rebel large the YT-2400 and the YT-1300 if you carry that smuggling compartment.
Right.
But, all right, so getting back up here to the right, the next row of cards you do see, which it shows you 4 condition cards, but it looks like 2 of them are the same, but 3 new condition cards and tokens. One called Harpooned, and basically it says, when you are hit by an attack, if there is at least 1 uncancelled crit result, each other ship at range 1 suffers 1 damage, then discard this card to receive 1 face-down damage card.
Yeah. And this is the one I feel like there's something else that must go with this. There's some other aspect of it that obviously hasn't been revealed yet, because as it stands right now, it seems like a weaker assault missiles, because assault missiles. I'm getting that right. Yep. It's assault missiles, that does the splash damage.
Yep.
So assault missiles, if it hits, then everyone at range 1 gets a damage.
Right.
This is if there's an uncanceled crit, everyone gets a damage. So it seems like a weaker assault missiles, but the fact that it's a condition makes me think there's got to be something extra to it that we just haven't seen yet.
Yeah, and there's so half the cards written, and usually the condition cards have a full text on different things, when you can use it, what have you, and all that fun stuff.
Yes. A lot of text on condition cards.
Which is a whole new aspect to the game, which I'm still scratching my head at.
I know.
Then you have a unique condition. It says mim something, mimic maybe. I'm not sure. You really can't see what the text is, but it does look like it calls out one of the pilots, which I think is a StarViper pilot, the Kihraxz.
Which actually, if we look at that condition token, the first condition token right above that first Harpooned card.
Yes.
Look at the art on that token, and then look up at the art on the StarViper pilots.
Mm-hmm.
We have a match. So that whatever condition that token applies to, it's like a Captain Rex type thing where it's tied to that pilot. It's got to be
awesome. And then we have another condition card, which also looks like the same pilot tied to something, and says Shaw, Shank, something, S-H-A. I'm not sure what the whole word is, but it does also call out that pilot as well. So I'm going to be interesting. Yeah. So that pilot, even though it's a pilot skill value 4, which we'll get into in a sec, definitely is going to have some shenanigans with these conditions here.
Yeah.
All right, so moving from right to left, the next big one, Vax. Now, how would you want to pronounce that?
Vaxi.
That I go with that. Why would you call it? Psi, right? You had a reasoning for that, didn't you?
Yeah. Yes, the reasoning for that is extremely logical. SAI is Psi. It's the weapon that Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles uses, and it's pronounced Psi. So a good rule for life: when in doubt, go with the turtles.
I love that rule. I love me some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. All right, so Vaxi says Kihraxz fighter only title. The squad point cost of each of your equipped upgrades is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0, and you may equip up to 3 different modification upgrades, and for 0 points. That is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It is.
I'm gonna pull up my builder here just to show everybody on how crazy this is.
Yeah.
I'm going to put up our good old friend Talibane Cobra. All right, Talibane Cobra, instantly I'm going to put the Carthxi title on him. You can see the 3 modification slots get added automatically. Now, he's at 28 points, right? Carthxi basically allows you to add all these modifications and reduce it by 1. So watch this. I'm going to put vector thrusters in.
I'm not sure I want to watch this.
I'm going to put engine upgrade. All right. So you just reduced those vector thrusters from 2 points to 1 point. Engine upgrade from 4 points to 3 points. You know what? Because he's already a 9, I'm going to put a tiny mind link on him. Right? I'm just going to
free.
For free, basically. Yeah, exactly. Because it's any upgrade, not just modifications. And I'm not. You know what? I'm going to put in good old auto thrusters just for shits and giggles. All right. So auto thrusters, which was 2 points, now goes down to 1 point.
Which he can now have because he's got engine upgrade.
Yep.
Yeah.
Talibane Cobra, just as a 28-point ship with vector thrusters, auto thrusters, engine upgrade, Carthxi title, tiny mind link, just became a 33-point ship. Now he's an ace that everybody wants to have. He has repositioning ability. That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness.
There's a line somewhere between a reasonable fix and an insane fix, and I can't know what side of the line this one's on. This is a little too much, I think. This is, I guess I would equate this to how they took Manaru and nerfed her from being sharing tokens with anyone on the board to anyone within range 1, when it reasonably could have been range 1 to 2 or even 1 to 3.
Yep.
This is kind of in that same category as far as I'm concerned, where they took the so-called fix a little too far.
This is interesting.
I think you know what, if they'd done one or the other, like if it was you can now equip 3 upgrades, fine, or now upgrades are 1 point less, fine, but both together make this a little bit too much of a fix in my mind.
You know what the interesting is like if you fly the Cartel Marauder, which is the lowest, you know, two skill pilot value of 2. Yeah, I can speak.
Yeah.
Right, and if you do vector thrusters and engine upgrade with Carthxi title, now you don't get an elite slot, of course, and what have you.
Yeah.
But for 24 points, you can get 4 of those on a board. A hard hitting ship with some positioning ability. Now, do you really need positioning ability when you're facing down? You know what? I would probably take the vector thrusters off and add a shield upgrade or something like that to be almost like an X-wing. I mean, this is one of the things that I was really. I'm going to add shield upgrade here. I'm going to take away vector thrusters. I'm even going to, you know what? I'm even going to take away engine upgrade. I'm just going to put Carthxi and shield upgrade, which brings me up to 2, right? So this is standard X-wing, not the T-70 X-wing, and I'm at 23 points. And I have hard turns. I have a whole bunch of different other shenanigans. And if I want to, I can definitely add, let's say, a boost if I want some T-70 type of action. And I'm at 26 points for a Cartel Marauder. So, like, you know, I can understand why they're doing what they want to do. They want to bring some more viability to the ship and have it being played more, because nobody played the Kihraxz fighter whatsoever.
No, I've been playing this game since Wave 3, and I have faced a K fighter exactly twice.
And the only time I faced him in a tournament setting was actually at a regionals last year. I was playing, actually, I don't want to say a mirror. I was playing Baby Blues, and he was flying 4 Cartel Marauders.
Okay.
And he had some outfits on different things on him, and I was able to, you know, position myself. I was able to move first for a big ass block, and then bump all his ships and light up into his formation. Yeah. But because they didn't have the hull and shields, they go down way too fast.
Okay, so here's the question. I thought of this last night after we did our practice run. Um, um, so, are there rules? I can't think of this off the top of my head about equipping multiples of the same upgrade. Like, not that I expect anyone to do this because it would be a points hog, but if you put Talonbane Cobra out on the table with 3 shield upgrades, because he can equip 3 modifications, right?
I don't know that rule. I don't know if that's that rule.
So he could be a pilot skill 9 with what, 3 hull and 5 shields? No, 4 shields.
Yeah,
I mean he wouldn't have all the maneuverability with the boost and barrel roll, but
he'd be a tanky fighter, yeah.
But there's the possibility there that you could throw 3 shield upgrades or 3 hull upgrades, or even 2 of one of those and an engine upgrade or something like that.
I actually never came across that. That would be interesting. I think it's only one. Like, they always say 1 modification per ship. I know that for a fact. But with this title, it opens up the door. You're allowing yourself.
Doesn't Royal Guard tie? Doesn't a Royal Guard tie get to equip 2?
That's true. That's true. Yes, true. That's true.
Yes, it is 2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Like I said,
I've never come across it. I don't actually own an interceptor, so I've never done the Royal Guard tie thing. But yeah, I mean, is that a possibility that you could throw 3 shield upgrades on a ship?
Let's do this. Let's ask the guys and our viewers and stuff like that. Definitely, if you guys know the answer to that, definitely leave in the comments below because we're curious. I would probably have to look it up somewhere about modifications if you're gonna have to do the same one or not. But
and I'll just let you look it up. I don't want to do the work.
Sounds like a plan. All right, so let me get right back into the mix here. But this card, the Vaxxi title, definitely makes a lot of things happen for the Kihraxz fighter. And I'm, for Scum, definitely for Scum players, one of the biggest themes that I got out of this pack is, the ships that they bought, right, or didn't want to buy because there was no really viability into these ships, now become viable, and Scum is going to have a lot more different versatility, which I like. Yeah. I like when they did that. And they also, when they came up with the Sea Rock Cruiser, they had the fix for the M3A fighter, lowering its squad points.
Yeah, with this, the StarViper is no longer going to be known as the Auto Thrusters expansion.
Exactly. All right, getting back to the spread, looking over here to the left. Right next to the Vaxxi title, you see what looks like a new missiles, and you get 2 of them. Looks like harpoon missiles of some sort. Yeah. They don't give any text or any talk about it, but that just looks awesome. Another missile slot for those munition guys. And with the Vaxxi title and with the munitions, going back here, the Kihraxz fighter and both. I don't think. Wait, does the StarViper have actually a missile slot?
StarViper's torpedoes, I believe.
Torpedo, that's right. Yep, torpedo. But the Kihraxz fighter does have a missile slot, and with if you do the Vaxxi the title, you get 3 modifications with missiles. You can use one of those lovely guidance chips as one of your your fillers if you need one. So if you just want, so that's interesting. But the harpoon missiles, though, we don't know what they are as far as value. We don't know what they can do. All right,
kind of assume that they're tied to those harpooned condition cards, based on the name.
I would agree with you on that. Definitely going to be interesting. So it looks like potentially some splash damage of some sort, which would be pretty cool. Yeah. All right, so let me make this smaller. All right, looking right off the bat here, you do see that those, the harpoon missiles, what looks like a harpoon missile type token, could be related. Who knows? We'll see. And could be related to the condition card, like Jim said. But we do see Victor Hell as one of the pilots. Let me bring up that pilot card.
Such a dramatic name.
Victor Hell. In the depths and dungeons of below, Victor Hell comes to the fight for the scum and villainy faction.
I love it.
Pilot skill value 7, 3 attack, 2 agility, 4 hull, 1 shield with the elite missile and illicit slots on its upgrade. Focus and target lock, 25 points. Interesting thing he's got here. After defending, if you did not roll exactly 2 defensive dice, the attacker receives 1 stress token. So,
yeah. The first thing I thought of when I read that is he's got an EPT slot, so he can take expose. Which, I mean, Gets you 4 dice, 4 attack dice, reduces your agility by 1, so the guy you're attacking is automatically getting a stress token.
Yep. And interesting enough, in the article, they have actually a little build-out with Victor Hell. They do have exposed, Vaxide title, pulse shield ray, vector thrusters, and experimental interface, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which is definitely interesting. So once per round after you perform an action, you may perform one free action that's equipped on your action bar that has the action header and receive 1 stress token. So that's pretty interesting. But with the expose, increases your firepower and then you basically stress. So it's giving some stress mechanics to the Scum faction, which is nice. I like that. All right, going back to the picture, the spread. You do have a new pile skill value 4, Captain somebody. We don't know, in the yellow Kihraxz fighter, which looks pretty cool. I'm not going to try to read the text.
Captain Underpants?
Yep, Captain Underpants. That's the official word. We're going with that.
Yep.
It's a spoiler from FFG directly.
That's right. We have connections.
We also see a pile skill value 5, black, which I'm thinking is a Black Sun, some kind of pilot. It's probably the same. Is that the same one that actually they have out today?
That's a good question.
Black Sun Ace.
I don't actually own a K fighter.
Yeah, Black Sun Ace, pile skill value 5, which I'm going to think is going to be the same. Yeah, it's probably the same.
Okay.
Then the Cartel Marauder, which is also the same as well. Now going up to the StarVipers, you do have the Dalen Orbos, which is a pile skill value 6.
Yeah.
You don't see any other stats or his ability. And then you looks like Thesic, pile skill value 4, which looks like it has a whole bunch of shenanigans of condition cards of some sort. And then you have what it looks to be the new Black Sun, and I'm going to call this, we don't know what it's called. It's called Black something. It's a pile skill value 5. But they already had the Black Sun Enforcer, Black Sun Vigo, Guri, and Prince Zeiser. Yeah. So it's going to be
the interesting thing about these cards is we've got previously for the StarViper, you had the Pilot Skill 1, Black Sun Enforcer, Pilot Skill 3, Black Sun Vigo. And then now we've got a named pilot with a Pilot Skill 4. Then we've got 2 generics at 5, which are the same pilot skill as Guri from the original set. And then, of course, this Dalen Oberos slots in right between Guri and Zizor.
Mm-hmm.
I find it really interesting that we now have generics that are the same pilot skill as what had been one of the aces of the original pack.
Interesting. Yeah, and then it's non-unique. So I wonder if it's an ace or something like that, or has some kind of verbiage. I wonder if it's going to have an elite slot, which might be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, whether or not it would have an elite slot, because neither of the generics from the original pack do. The other interesting thing, tying in with the new title, the Mark II title, is that the existing title, the Virago, says you can't equip it if your pilot skill is 3 or lower, which means all of these new pilots can equip the Virago title if you want.
Ah, yes. That's going to be interesting. Because that, that leaves... Yeah, because if we do... Oh, yeah.
Because previously it was only Zizor and Guri who could have the Virago title, because everyone else was pilot skill 3 or lower. So it'll be interesting to see what these condition cards and pilot abilities for these 2 named pilots are, because equipping them with the Virago title to get access to an illicit slot and a system slot could make them pretty impressive.
I guess this. It's a lot of because one of the biggest things I posted up on our Facebook group. We have our SPG X-Wing Miniatures Facebook group, and a lot of people have been posting and joining up that. We just released that. We're kind of moving our community over there. And one of the things I posted up was says, "Hey, share your thoughts on this expansion, set, so we can definitely let you guys know." When we do our video and give you guys shout outs on some of the comments. I'm trying to pull some of them up, but one of the biggest thing was this with all the pilots and all the things, like I said, it's just giving some more, for lack of a better word, scum loving. But did I ever tell you the story about what Ryan well, I'm rephrase it. I did tell you the story about what Ryan did, because the first take, but I'll let our viewers know. Just be careful, Scum players, when you wear a shirt that says Scum Life. okay, and you're wearing a jacket.
Don't wear a hoodie.
Yeah, don't wear a hoodie or anything that covers up any of the first or last letters of that whole entire phrase, especially when it covers the S up. And I'm just going to leave it at that. We had Ryan comes walking outside one time from a tournament, and he has his jacket and he has his Scum Life green shirt on, and I'm like, Ryan, what does your shirt say? He looks down. He's like, son of a bitch. But anyway, I digress. But so we go back to some of the feedback here. So Brad M basically says, he goes, I like to talk about the fact that people are mad that this isn't a T65 fix. He goes, I'm excited because now they're introducing multiple titles and multiple models on a single ship. I think we can expect a similar fix for the T65. He also says A-Wing, etc. in the near future, which is interesting how he pull up the A-Wing.
Well, the A-Wing doesn't need, in my opinion, the A-Wing doesn't need a fix. I think the fact that with the Rebel Aces you can have the A-Wing test pilot and equip 2 EPTs on like a Green Squadron pilot. You can have 3 Green Squadron pilots completely loaded out. In my case, as long as you can swipe an A-Wing test pilot from one of the Salt Squadron guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think the A-Wing needs the existing A-Wing. Let's put it that way. I don't think the existing A-Wing needs any improvements.
Existing A-Wing? Do tell.
Yes. Some people may already be aware of this. There's this scene in the Last Jedi trailer where there are those large ships coming across, look like B-Wings on steroids.
Yep.
In a battle. And you see a couple of smaller ships whipping in and out between them. Freeze frames of that show what is basically an A-Wing. It's an elongated A-Wing, not quite as stubby. Looks a little bit bigger. And this has actually been confirmed. There have been some licensee catalogs, licensee art that is leaked onto the internet that have actually shown products, like a model, scale model of a new design A-Wing. Call it an A-Wing Mark II. It's probably Mark III by that point in the story. But so my gut tells me that they're doing the same thing they did before Rogue One. If you remember, well, FFG normally for X-Wing releases waves in blocks of 5, so it'll be 5 ships in a wave. Mm-hmm. If you remember, prior to Rogue One, we got a preview of 3 ships. And then just before Rogue One, they dropped the U-Wing and the TIE Striker.
Yep.
Well, we've just, about a month ago, had our reveal of 3 ships. And we've got another Star Wars movie coming out in December. So I suspect one of the ships that will fill out that wave will be the new A-Wing.
Ah, okay. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Again, then potentially some new upgrades for that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I don't think there will be a buff to the existing A-Wing. I think there will be a new A-Wing.
One of the things I was thinking about with the T65 fix, and a lot of people were talking about, yet another release fixing other ships without T65. My gut that I think what's going to be coming is when they released out Force Awakens movie, it almost took a year to come out with the actual Heroes of the Resistance expansion pack, which is the new Millennium Falcon. And the black version of the T-70 for Poe Dameron and some other pilots for both. But I think what's going to happen is Rogue One, you did see a clip of a new T-65 style. In the new, it's actually older in most regards because Rogue One took before. But also with the T-65 and Rogue One, you actually also have the Blue Squadron and the Red Squadron. So everything has always been Red Squadron except for the new T-70s as the Blue Squadron. But I would think that they're going to come out with some kind of Rogue One expansion that has that black and white edition.
The partisan X-Wing,
Yep. And then also or a Blue Squadron T-65 with Blue Squadron pilots from Rogue One. I have a funny feeling that's going to come out, which then will address, potentially maybe a fix per se.
Yeah.
And maybe,
now, of course, the question is... with the fact that Saw Gerrera was not really affiliated with the Rebel Alliance anymore by the time Rogue One comes along, would that black and white T-65 then possibly be available for Scum and Villainy in the same way that we see one Rebel card in the new Scum bomber?
That would be very interesting because that's the one thing too is like I think was it Hot Wheels or somebody or
Yeah. Hot Wheels came out with the Partisan X-Wing, yes.
but I didn't even see it like being sold anywhere. Like I don't know if it's out there, like you can buy it.
I have seen them. Yeah. I see them in weird places though. Like I've never seen one at Toys R Us or Walmart, but I see them at like a drugstore.
But you don't see that. I think you see a crashed T65. I think in the movie, but you don't see anything like it doesn't show you. Like I think there was a cut scene they were showing T65s in front of Saw Gerrera's place. I think it was like a behind the scenes type of thing.
You do briefly see the black and white one during the escape scene when that like wall of earth is coming towards Saw Gerrera's little thing. You see an X-wing take off very briefly,
but you don't. And that's the only piece that you see. So I'm wondering, a year from now, because it takes a year. If they will release a Rogue One expansion pack that will have a T65 fix, I'd be very
It's going to be difficult though to fix. I'm one of the few people who don't think the T65 really needs a fix. And this is coming from someone who plays Rebels all the time and plays Bigs all the time. I think the T65, if there's going to be a fix to it, they have to be really careful about it. Like they can't do something like they did with this Vaxi where you can just strap anything you want onto the ship, glue an A-wing onto it, you now have 5 agility kind of thing. Because you got to be careful. Biggs is already such a factor. You got to be careful not to make him an overpowering factor. But there's also, think about Wedge and his pilot ability to basically reduce agility just by looking at you.
That's true. Yep.
If you put, this gets expensive, but if you put like outmaneuver on Wedge, then you're theoretically reducing a target's agility by 2. How much more can you do to that ship without it becoming a problem? So you've got to be careful that the fix doesn't create more problems.
That's true.
Which is that it's going to be tough for the T65 because, in my mind, because of those 2 pilots.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, because Blake was flying Han Solo, the old Han Solo, and I think he was flying Luke too, and he was flying those 2 ships, and like I was flying against my triple Ks, and I had some bad rolls, or I should say, he had some good rolls for himself when he was running over my munitions. But it was Luke. It was interesting. I didn't fly those 2 ships, and I had to ask him. I'm like, what was Luke's rememberability again?
Oh yeah,
you never see Luke.
I flew Luke for the first time in probably 3 years this past weekend. Just having a quick game. I was doing we did basically a kind of simplified Heroes of the Aturi cluster mission. I did it with my 11-year-old stepdaughter. And,
nice.
So instead of building pilots, we used existing pilots and just put on a couple of upgrades. And I flew Luke. It was the first time in probably 3 years that I've flown Luke. So,
how did you like him without the repositioning ability? That's one
I
of the
did
things.
not. I did not like it. I died.
Luke went down.
She won the mission. I died.
Red 5. Red 5 needs help.
Yeah, if I were to try to fly T65s other than Biggs, I would absolutely put vector thrusters on them, and I think that would probably be the only fix that I would consider to be really an appropriate fix for the T65 is to give them a barrel roll action, just a title that says, okay, you can barrel roll now, just go barrel roll.
Yeah, barrel roll, give some position. Yeah, I think that would be ideal, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, so looking at Facebook here, Ross S., who is one of our Team SPG members, he says the Kihraxz fighter still has a crap dial. Stress control is the big issue for that ship now. I was kind of know where he's going with that. The Kihraxz fighter, the dial's really interesting. It's what I do like about it. It has the 1 hard turn, 2 hard turns, and then it's got the 1, 2, 3 banks, but it does not have a 1 straight. And it does have a 4 and 5K turn. It has a 4-speed white maneuver as well. It doesn't have, this dial is pretty interesting, especially with that hard turn. And if you are equipping it with, engine upgrade and also vector thrusters, this opens the door up for some things here. Yeah,
well, I'm just looking at it now. Is it really? Hold on. It disappeared. Grab a dial. Is it really that different from the T65 dial?
Well, the T65 doesn't have it has a 1 straight, and it does not have a 1 hard.
Yeah, but other than that, it's very similar. Actually, it's got more green than the T65. T65, the only green is the 1 bank, 1 straight, and 2 straight.
And I think the T65 also has a 3 hard turn. The Kihraxz does not.
Yeah. I forgot about the.
And then it's got the 1 4K turn. This has a 4 and a 5, which gives you a little bit more flexibility. But
so in terms of dealing with a stress mechanic, it's better. It's already better equipped than a T65 is.
Yeah, I would have to go with that too as well. Interesting. Seamus, our good friend Seamus, goes, too much to discuss on here, Berto. If I could, it was just too much because I know he was blowing up when we did do the first version of this video, our online stream. He had a lot of feedback, and he's probably going to be leaving a lot of comments related to this video as well below.
Probably. Well, and he flies StarVipers fairly extensively, as I recall. I know he's had a couple of lists with Guri in it that he's flown a lot, but he mentioned the other day. That he has a triple StarViper list that he breaks out sometimes.
Yep.
So I'm sure he'll be buying several of these sets.
Yeah, right. We're Sam Ducci, also another Team SPG member, goes, do you think this will be released with the rest of Wave 11 ships, or we will see another Aces and Veterans expansion for the Rebel fixes announced in a few weeks?
They don't usually announce 2 box sets in rapid succession. And from what I can recall, the previous box sets, whether it was Imperial Veterans or that, they've all come out separately from the Wave 10 or Wave 11, whatever it is.
Right. And also, I think...
Am I remembering that right? Like, am I making shit up here?
No, I think you're right. And I think also, I think they said in the bottom of the article, it said that this was coming out 3rd quarter. But also, we still have those 3 other ships that they haven't released yet. You know, the Scourge... the new TIE, one of the new TIE fighters that has the turret on it, and also that Rebel Wookiee gunship.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering...
There's another one that I can't spell or pronounce.
All right, so looking at this, Mark R says, the StarViper is now a serious Dengar Fenrau quick draw hunter. That barrel roll makes it an amazing arc dodger. The Carthxi is a beast now, but not without its flaws. 2 agility, 5 hits, and a pretty meh dial. A tricked out Bosk or Nora Ray could probably take it out in round 2 if you don't fly right. It is a good box for Scum and makes these ships playable again, but I agree T65s are next. Yeah, but any aces that you have, aces are usually low on the hull and shields. So, but I think with the modification upgrades, you can play around with it and beast it up.
The only thing that makes me hesitate in saying that this makes the StarViper an ace hunter is that your best ship is Zizor, and he's still only a 7, unless you put VI on him. And so you're doing that at the expense of putting on PTL, which would be able to, give you a lot more versatility, a lot more options in terms of hunting. This way, unless you've got accuracy corrector or you've got fire control system, you're going to be using up your action to reposition, which will, hinder your offense a little bit without having a focus token to spend.
Yep. Oh yeah. Now, if he said the Kihraxz fighter. And I think it's what Sam B says here. Sam B says, I think the Kihraxz fighter fix is great, and it will bring the aces for that ship back into play. Taliban Cobra, absolutely. A lot of people are saying it's gone too far, but I disagree. I'm on the fence with that. I know, Jim, you think it went a little too far. But now with engine upgrade, vector thrusters, and auto thrusters, it's in the point region of a standard Fenrau build, which I agree. Nobody says that Fen is underpriced, so I can't see an argument to say that Kihraxz is now underpriced. It only has 5 HP, so you can still light it up in a single round. The title just gives the quality of life change the ship needs to do without disturbing anything else. I think it was very well designed. The StarViper title, he says, is awesome as well, although I think we'll see more lower PS Vipers come out of the woodwork once this title releases. And he also says, Black Sun Vigo with auto Vigo with auto thrusters and plasma torps for 30 points, and the title makes the ships way more usable. It already has a great dial for good action bar and a good action bar. The new title bar roll should be also some good fun. He says, overall, I think this pack is great, and we haven't even seen other unique pilots yet, which is true.
Yeah.
And he goes, it would most likely mean we'll see more from Scum, just the Fangs and Jump Masters and Shadowcasters in tournaments, and that's a great thing for the game in general. I agree. What do you... So let's talk about meta real fast as far as that. Do you think another nerf is coming for a Jump Master? Because you see Jump Masters...
A lot.
Either in Dengartel, Fenrau and missile boats, triple jumps missile boats.
Actually, I saw a really good list last week. A Bosk Dengar list just slaughtered me.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't see another nerf coming for the Jump Master for the simple reason that they just did one. I'm not sure what they could do right now that they can reasonably do so quickly after the changes to Manaroo. Right. I mean, that was just March. It was just before Naboo, so it was late March that all took effect.
Yep.
So we're not even 6 months past. I don't think they can reasonably put out another nerf to the same ship within the same calendar year, and not have pitchforks and torches and people knocking on their door. I'm also not sure it needs it. I don't like Jump Masters. I make fun of people who fly them, but I don't necessarily think it needs anything done to it.
Really?
It's a cheap ship. That's always been its problem. It's a cheap ship. But what do you do? Do you give it a mandatory title that says you must add 1 point to all of your upgrades?
I think, my thing, if I had the... I'm not saying if Jump Masters need a fix or not, but I think, I like how FFG really analyzes the cards and what have you, and sees where the strengths is, because when you have this many ships and this many upgrade cards and this many pilots, this and that, it's hard to come out with an upgrade. I mean, you can play test to your done, but you're gonna get the crafty list builders that really sit there and mind meld on what they need to do. And I'm guilty, I'm trying to put some some weird schemes together, but I think what they're going to do is, I think they're going to look at the upgrade cards themselves and probably nerf one of them, or if they do a nerf a nerf to the Jump Master, I have a funny feeling that EPT slot is going to go away for the contracted scout the contracted scout, the PS3 ship. I think
that would be the only thing they could do. I think the problem with doing an errata for an upgrade card, when the problem is not the card itself, but the way it's used on one particular ship, is that you're then kneecapping that upgrade card for every other ship that can use it.
Right.
It would be the same for if because people decide that having Biggs with R2D2 is too much. It would be like nerfing R2D2 to solve the problem with Biggs. Yep. It doesn't actually solve the problem with Biggs. It just makes R2D2 a weaker card for everything else that can use it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to come out with something or what have you, or and you don't know also too, is like when new ships drops, once that Wave 11 drops officially, things are going to change. Meta always changes. The new cards come out. People are, they want to try different things. But the missile boats, Fenrau missile boats are hot. Then, I was playing I was playing triple Ks, and, I always get the dirty look when I play the triple Ks, because with Sabine, this and that.
And rightly so.
Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, that list is horrible. I can't believe you brought that list. And I'm like, what do you mean it's horrible? I love playing this list. I love making you roll your own fate.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like, no matter what you look at it, every list, it's weird. It's rock, paper, scissors. Yes, they're hot. Everybody's been playing them. But I think, give it, with Wave 11 coming soon and with the C-Rock dropping in a couple days here, I think it's just going to give different viabilities. New upgrades are going to help different things. You never know. I mean, and it's always hard to
Yeah.
figure out. All right, I think we covered everything here. Let me just double check. Yeah, we covered pretty much all the cards, the new upgrades. Like I said, I think this is going to be a great expansion for Scum. I think a lot of the Scum players, you're going to see definitely a lot of Kihraxz fighters and Vipers come back into the world, which if I was a Scum player, I think I have like 4 or 5 Kihraxz fighters just because I want them. And I think I have 42 auto thruster expansion packs, or AKA StarVipers, just to get the auto thrusters. But this definitely, I think, is going to be a viable expansion for Scum.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to the StarViper stuff, because I have a couple of StarVipers and I love the ship. I haven't been able to put together anything that I think is viable at this point.
Oh, and this is definitely going to open a lot of doors.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this bad boy up. Jim, always a pleasure. Thank you for round 2 of the same video.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And if you guys haven't checked out Jim's book, Radko's War, check it out. He's working on. You also said you were working on a second one for that?
Yes, I'm in the 4th draft of the sequel.
Oh my goodness, love it, awesome. But we'll definitely share that up when he comes out with that book. But
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely check out Radko's War. And you have a pen name, I believe, for that as well.
Yes, it's under David Whale.
Okay. And so I'll make sure I'll put the link in below in the description if you can check out his book.
Perfect. Thank you.
Also, if you guys like what we do, just definitely give this video a like. Also, if you have any comments, what do you guys think about this expansion? Leave it in the comments below. I mean, I'd be really curious on what everybody's going to say about this video. And all the different ships and expansions that's going to come out, different upgrades and builds that's going to come out of this box here. Also, check out our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We actually do a lot. We moved our communities a lot to the Facebook. It was just easier to manage because I am not a website guru whatsoever. But so definitely check out our communities there, and I'll update the website to shift everything over to Facebook. But we have everything is labeled SPG X-Wing Miniatures. It's a Facebook group. Definitely check those out. Also, check out if you guys want to support us. Oh, you got something?
Before I forget, because I forgot to do it last night, so it's a good thing we had to do this again. The Listinator Challenge, which is a list building contest we do every month, has been delayed a bit. I'm having trouble getting the poll set up on Facebook, so I'm looking at another option to do that. I guess it's because of how many entries we had. I have to have like 28, 29 poll options, and Facebook keeps glitching out on me, so I haven't actually been able to get the poll to work yet.
Okay.
So I think I figured out another option. So the voting will happen at some point this week.
Okay.
But what we're going to do is, because of how long we're already into June and how long voting will go into June, there's not going to be a June challenge. That we'll then immediately get ready to set up the July one.
Okay. And if you guys don't know, with the Listinator Challenge, whoever wins that list, we haven't been playing some of the matches. We do King of the Hill style, which we're backlog on that. But I just finished my game table. We just had a sample run Friday night here. We had the Hornet Squadron Radio host John and also Blake, and we're testing this out. So hopefully that will bring a lot of those matches back, because my schedule and Blake's schedule and Nim's schedule, we're all like doing this. So, over the last 2 months, but and also if the winner of the Listinator Challenge also gets a 20-piece set of your choosing X-Wing tokens, so that's always good. And all right, so let's wrap this bad boy up. If you guys want to help support us, Team SPG, check that out. That actually helps us. You guys get some cool monthly swag. Like I think we have Fen Rao for X-Wing and Baby Vader. If I can find it somewhere here. This is actually the new cards here. Here's Baby Vader. Nice. And here's Fen Rao, alternate art cards that we worked on. You guys can check that out. Also, check out our token stores for the links below for X-Wing, Imperial Assault, Destiny, and what have you, and all that fun stuff. Jim, again, always a pleasure, sir.
My pleasure.
All right. Jim, hang back for a sec. All right, guys. Absolutely. Thanks again.